Good morning, all participants. On behalf of Indian Railway Institute of Financial Management, Secunderabad, I extend warm welcome to each one of you for today's webinar on cash book, commercial bookkeeping, cash book. And to take up this session, we have Shri Xavier, is working in traffic accounts of Central Railway. And I'll give this handover this time to Shri Xavier to commence the session.
Thank you, Bena. Thank you, Bena, once again. Good morning, all the participants.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
I mean, as long as your background sounds are okay, unmute yourselves so that you can ask me whatever you all require.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning to all of you. Each one don't start saying it.
Japan, sir.
తెలుగులో కూడా ట్రై చేసి చెప్తాను.
అంటే మోస్ట్లీ సౌత్ సెంట్రల్ లో ఎక్కువ మంది ఉన్నారు సార్. 50 మెంబర్స్ సౌత్ సెంట్రల్ లో ఉన్నారు.
నేను చెప్తా, నో ప్రాబ్లం.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.
సో ఇవాళ మన టాపిక్ ఇస్ క్యాష్ బుక్. Yeah, we try little Hindi also in between. To the best of my ability, we will do it. Is that clear? If you'll have any doubts, if you have doubts, koi bhi doubts hai to please ask immediately. Nenu cheppinattu background la sound ekku lekapothe kindly unmute yourself so that you can ask me questions. Fine? Yes? Is that clear?
Okay, sir.
Is that clear, friends?
Sir.
Have you set the ground rules for that? Yes, fine. Okay. So basically this is for your 2A exam. So already you have knowledge about it. Isn't it? Already you have knowledge of whatever is happening. You have attended your induction course. So let us see first thing, what is it? Let's take the introduction. You're all able to see the screen I'm sharing with you all?
Yes, sir.
All of you are able to see the screen I'm sharing with you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So as we know, when we do bookkeeping, we would have seen even in yesterday's class, you would have heard Mr. Bena, I think, took it and he said, the first thing that we do in accounts, for all the transactions that are there, we record them in a journal, right? We record them in a journal. Am I right? Right? So what happens is, it is good because all transactions in a chronological order are recorded in a journal, and after that, as he has told you, we are posting them into a ledger. But for a large business organization, it is difficult to post from the journal to the ledger. So to make such things easy, what has happened is we have tried to club transactions into different things and started what we may call as subsidiary books. Okay. So what we do is, that's when all transactions are recorded, it becomes too much to handle. So we start putting them in different books called the subsidiary books, of which one book is cash book. Adhamainda? Ippudu anni journals manamu journal entries rashi dani money manamu ledger account la rayalante chaala time padtadi pedda organization ekkada transactions ekku unnappudu. To avoid that problem, a problem avoid cheyadaniki manamu ee transactions journal ni avoid cheseshi directly konni books open chestamu. Aa books ni manamu subsidiary books ani antamu. We have थोड़े बुक्स को क्या करते हैं अपन, जब जर्नल बहुत ज्यादा हो जाता है बड़े कंपनीज को, so we try to open a book called subsidiary books for each. Now what are these different subsidiary books? Okay, so thus when all transactions used to be recorded in journal, the book will become too much to handle and it's very difficult to get the information, and so we do separately in a book called the cash book for cash, and for other books so there are. Okay, so for example, what are the different subsidiary books? Am I clear till here? Okay, what are the different kinds of subsidiary books? You can see it here. Okay, the different kinds of subsidiary books. We'll come to the cash book last. I'll just run through because sometimes you may get a question called subsidiary books too. I'll just run through the subsidiary books in just about 2 minutes, not more than that. So first of the subsidiary books is purchase book. The first of the subsidiary books is purchase book. A purchase book is used to record all purchase transactions credit only. A purchases book is used to record all the credit purchase. Cash purchases will not come there because the cash purchases, we have another book called cash book which we will be seeing now. So the first thing that we will be doing The first thing we will be looking at is the purchases book. Okay, so in the purchases book, okay, all transaction purchase of goods, this is not for purchase of assets, for purchase of goods, those kind of things will be taken into the purchases book. All credit purchases will be taken. All credit purchases will be taken there. Is that clear? Fine. Then similarly, we have another book called the sales book. For all credit sales will appear in the sales books. Credit sales of goods, not sales of assets, but credit sales of goods will appear in the sales book. Similarly, we have another book called the purchase returns book. That is for the goods which are sold on credit. When they come back to make an entry, the purchases return books is used. And similarly, for the sales returns book is used. Okay, so subsidiary books lo manaki purchases book untadi, oka sales book untadi. Purchases book, sales book denikante mana credits purchases goods mana vastulanu manamu credit lo konnatappudu adi purchases book lo potadi. Utti credit cash transactions illa raavu. Cash transaction, any cash transaction, either a cash transaction, jo bhi cash transaction hai, that will go to the cash book. So these other subsidiary books are for all the credit items, as you may say, but cash is not involved. Cash involved nahi rehta. ఇక్కడ క్యాష్ ఇన్వాల్వ్మెంట్ లేదో ఈ వేరే సబ్సిడరీ బుక్స్ అన్ని మనం ఇప్పుడు చూసేది దాని పోతాయి. పర్చేసెస్ బుక్ లో క్రెడిట్ పర్చేసెస్, సేల్స్ బుక్ లో క్రెడిట్ సేల్స్, పర్చేస్ రిటర్న్స్ మనం ఏదో అమ్మినాము అవి రిటర్న్ వస్తాయి, దానికోసము పర్చేస్ రిటర్న్స్ బుక్. అట్లనే మనము దాని సేల్స్ రిటర్న్ మనం కొన్నప్పుడు మనం రిటర్న్ చేస్తాము, అప్పుడు పర్చేస్ రిటర్న్స్ బుక్. Similarly, there are two other books which is called bills receivable book and bills payable book. This is for the bills receivable which we have to receive or for the bills payable. Now for certain transactions, I said, for example, sale of asset or purchase of asset, it does not fit in any of these books. Manam asset konnatappudu lekapothe ammetappudu agar apan asset ku kharidte ya bechte ye books mein nahi aata, neither cash book mein aata nor will it come in purchases book la raadu, sales book la raadu, ye book la raadu. For such transactions which do not appear in any of these books, ee transactions ee books la appear kaakapothe daniki inkoka purchase book undi, dan peru journal proper antam. So all those which are there in that will be they put in the journal proper. Is that clear? Fine. Now let us look at what we actually want to see. That is only we are interested today. Our topic is for cash book. Have you all understood that point? Okay. So just as a recap, okay, these are all called subsidiary books. There are basically, these are all called subsidiary books. There are 8 subsidiary books. The purchase book and purchase returns book, sales book and sales return books. These are all for recording the credit transactions, bills receivable book, bills payable book, and journal proper for transactions which cannot be recorded in all the others. And the biggest of all these books is the cash book. Now, why the cash book I'm saying is the biggest is so much of transactions takes place. The advantage of having this cash book is either when goods are sold or goods are purchased, when goods are sold or goods are purchased, or for any other transaction, cash is involved in some form or the other. Why? Either you'll give it in the form of a check, or you may pay cash only, or you may receive a check, or you may receive cash. So whether it's check or cash, both the cash book takes care of. And so the cash book becomes importance. Okay, when we talk cash book annappudu cash వచ్చేటప్పుడు పోయేటప్పుడు అని కాదు, చెక్స్ కూడా వచ్చేటప్పుడు పోయేటప్పుడు మనం 3 కాలమ్ క్యాష్ బుక్ తర్వాత చూస్తాము, అందులో కూడా ఎంట్రీ అయితే. సో మనకి క్యాష్ బుక్ లో all cash transactions, when we say cash, it is not necessary మనం క్యాష్ అన్నప్పుడు అది ఉట్టి క్యాష్ వచ్చిందో పోయిందో కాదు, చెక్ వచ్చిందో చెక్ ఇచ్చినామో అవి కూడా ఇంపార్టెంట్, అవి కూడా క్యాష్ బుక్ లోనే వస్తాయి. ఓకే, సో వాట్ హ్యాపెన్స్ ఇస్ అట్ ఎనీ గివెన్ టైం, ఎందుకు ఇది ఈజీ అంటే మనకి అట్ ఎనీ టైం బిజినెస్ మ్యాన్ కి ఏదైనా టైంలో ఎనీ టైం టు నో ద బ్యాలెన్స్ ఆఫ్ క్యాష్ ఇన్ హ్యాండ్ ఆర్ అట్ బ్యాంక్, ఎనీ టైం మనకు బిజినెస్ మ్యాన్ ఐ వాంట్ టు నో టుడే ఇవాళ నాకు ఎంత పైసలు ఉన్నాయి బ్యాంక్ లో, ఎంత పైసలు ఉన్నాయి చేతులు అంటే క్యాష్ బుక్ ఓపెన్ చేసి చూస్తే మనకు తెలిసిపోతుంది. At any given time जब अपने को कैश कितना मालूम हो, कैश कितना है मेरे हाथ पे या कैश कितना है बैंक में पता करने को कभी भी कैश बुक खोलो तो मालूम हो जाता, और ये कितना डेली अपन कितना पैसा खर्च करे, कितने पैसे आए और कितना पैसे बच गए वो भी पता चल जाता है इसके साथ. Okay, so this is a subsidiary book and also a principal book. What does a cash book do? A cash book has a dual purpose. Okay, that is, it's a book of original entry. Because of the cash book, we are not writing in the journal entries. We don't write journal entries because directly it is recorded, or it is recorded in the cash book. So in this way, cash book represents cash account and hence becomes the principal book of account. That is because మన దగ్గర cash book ఉందని మనం journal entries prepare చేయము. ఎందుకంటే cash book will take care of it. Okay? क्योंकि cash book क्या अपन journal entries prepare करने का जरूरत नहीं. जैसा एक cash transaction होता, चाहे cash आया गया for whatever purpose, खरीदे या पैसे आए सेल की वजह से, उसको immediately अपन जो है cash book में लिख देते. journal entry में लिखने की जरूरत नहीं. और एक क्या है, journal entry में लिखे तो अपने को లెడ్జర్ में పోస్ట్ करना. మనం జర్నల్ ఎంట్రీలో రాసినప్పుడు అంతా మళ్ళీ దాని తర్వాత లెడ్జర్. కానీ క్యాష్ బుక్ లో రాసినప్పుడు जब अपन कैश बुक में लिखते लेजर की भी जरूरत नहीं है, बिकॉज कैश बुक इज लाइक अ जर्नल एंट्री आल्सो टेक्स केयर ऑफ. इफ यू हैव टू से इट చెప్పాలంటే ఒక జర్నల్ ఎంట్రీ కూడా అది క్యాష్ అకౌంట్ కూడా, అది క్యాష్ అకౌంట్ కూడా, నాట్ ఓన్లీ క్యాష్, ఇట్ ఆల్సో హ్యాస్ అ బ్యాంక్ అకౌంట్. ఓకే, సో ఇట్ ఇస్ అ క్యాష్ అకౌంట్ as well as a bank account, both are here. Is that clear, friends? Yes. Okay, then we move, then we'll move forward then. Fine. As I already told you this, cash book is both a journal and a ledger. Cash book is both a journal and a ledger. Okay, it plays both the roles, as I already finished telling you this. Fine. Now, it is similarly, as you already known, it is not that the first class that we are doing, as you already know, so you know how it is prepared. Okay, so it is prepared just in the form, just like an account. It is prepared just like an account. Is that clear? It is prepared just like an account. It's a T shape, as you have known. Okay, it has a T shape, it has a debit side and a credit side and the various columns which we will see. Okay, fine. So all the receipts, that is the receipts ante when cash coming in. Okay, cash book మీకు తెలిసినట్టే it is an account shape లోనే ఉంటది. అది T shape, రెండు సైడ్లు ఉంటాయి, డెబిట్ సైడ్, క్రెడిట్ సైడ్. ఎన్ని కాలమ్స్ ఉంటే మనం కొంచెం సేపట్లో చూద్దాం దాన్ని. ओके, कैश बुक जो है टी शेप अकाउंट ही चाहिए, डेबिट साइड रहता, क्रेडिट साइड रहता. सो जितना कॉलम्स है बुक्स के हिसाब से अपन देखेंगे आगे. तो डेबिट साइड पे क्या होता, डेबिट साइड का ఏమైతది, on the debit side all receipts of cash are entered. Okay, on the debit side all receipts of cash. Receipts of cash ante what is the meaning of receipts of cash? Receipts of, when cash comes into the business. Cash जब business में आता, उसको अपन debit side of the cash book we will write it in the receipt side. Is that clear? Any cash coming in for whatever purpose does not really matter. क्या purpose क्या వస్తారు, ఎందుకు వస్తుంది cash మనకు అనవసరం. సేల్ చేసినామా, asset సేల్ చేసినామా, goods సేల్ చేసినామా, అదంతా అనవసరం మనకి. ఎవరైనా ఇస్తున్నా, business లో పైసలు వస్తే, business में जब पैसे आते, बस चाहे वो कैश लिटरली कैश में आओ या चेक आन दो, जो भी हो, इट विल बी रिकॉर्डेड. उसका रिकॉर्डिंग जो होता डेबिट साइड पे होता. इज दैट क्लियर? सो ऑन द डेबिट साइड, మన డెబిట్ సైడ్ మీద పైసలు లోపల జస్ట్ మనకు ఒక ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ ఇచ్చింది అనుకో, మనకు అన్నది అర్థమైపోతుంది పైసలు మనకు వస్తున్నాయా పోతున్నాయా, పైసలు మన దగ్గరకు వస్తున్నాయా పోతున్నాయా. వస్తుంటే ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఇస్ కమింగ్ we will enter ekkada manani enter chestamu debit side of cash book. Clear? Similarly, exactly opposite to that will be the credit side. Exactly opposite to that will be the credit side. Credit side lo em chestamu, paisa mana business ke potadi, we will be okay, we will be for paying rent undochu, for paying taxes undochu, for paying salaries undochu, for purchasing goods undochu, for purchasing assets undochu. Okay, so credit side पे क्या होता, जब पैसे बिजनेस से बाहर जाते, when the money goes out of the business, when the money goes out of the business, then those transactions come on the credit side of cash book. So it's the same, and that is why the cash book serves the purpose of a ledger account. Okay, that is why the cash book serves the purpose of a ledger account. Is that clear, friends? Is that clear, friends? Anyone would like to ask any questions right now? To clarify in what I've said, you can just take half a minute maybe. Any questions, friends? Before I move. Okay then. Now, what is the advantages of maintaining a cash book? What is the advantages of maintaining a cash book? Okay. First thing is, cash book prevents duplication of work in recording cash transactions, okay, in the journal, and then posting them into the ledger as a cash book acts both as a journal as well as a ledger. That is what we have been talking. So there is no need for preparing a separate journal entry, and there is no need for preparing a separate ledger. That is the first biggest advantage, because in any transaction that we deal in, most transactions are involving cash. It may be cash or check, okay? Let's not get confused. The words are interchangeably used. అంటే ఎనీ బిజినెస్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ మోస్ట్లీ నేను చెప్పినట్టు ముందు కూడా చెప్పినా అది చెక్ క్యాష్ ద్వారా లేకపోతే చెక్ ద్వారానే ఉంటాయి. అయితే మనకి జర్నల్లో రాసి మళ్ళీ లెజర్లో రాసే అవసరం లేదు. అయితే అందులో మనకి డూప్లికేట్ రెండు సార్లు చేసే పని అవసరం లేదు. అందుకే క్యాష్ బుక్ చేసినప్పుడు అదొక జర్నల్ అయిపోతుంది, అది ఒక లెజర్ అయిపోతుంది. దట్ ఈస్ ద బిగ్గెస్ట్ అడ్వాంటేజ్. దట్ ఈస్ ద బిగ్గెస్ట్ అడ్వాంటేజ్. Okay, the biggest advantage is that. Then, whenever a cash account is not opened, when a cash book is maintained, therefore it prevents the size of the ledger to be too bulky, or voluminous means too big, because many transactions are almost all transactions will be of cash variety. If you go to open a cash account, your ledger book will be filled with that only. To avoid such a voluminous thing, when there is a cash book, we don't need a cash account. మనము cash account ఓపెన్ చేయాలంటే అన్ని ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్ క్యాష్ లో ఉంటది, మన లెడ్జర్ చాలా పెద్దగా అయిపోతుంది. మన లెడ్జర్ బుక్ లో మొత్తం క్యాష్ అకౌంట్ లోనే ఉంటది. అది క్యాష్ బుక్ ఓపెన్ చేస్తే దాని అవసరం లేదు, అది క్యాష్ బుక్, సో లెడ్జర్ బుక్ తక్కువ అయిపోతుంది. Another biggest advantage, and that is what we will be seeing, the most important of all the cash books, which is we call as, you know it as a 3-column cash book. Now both the cash and bank transactions can be entered. Cash and bank transactions can be entered. Cash book, as I've already been saying, it is not just used for when money, cash comes in literally. Ante paisalu, the rupee notes come to us or go out of us. It is also for when checks we receive and checks. There is a column for that. So the cash book serves the purpose of what? A cash account. And cash book also serves the purpose of a bank account. Cash book ఏం చేస్తుంది? ఉట్టి మన పైసలు వచ్చినప్పుడు కాదు, చెక్ ఇచ్చినా మనము అది కూడా క్యాష్ బుక్ లకు వస్తున్నాం. మనం ఒక కాలం పెట్టుకున్నాం, 3-column క్యాష్ బుక్ లా. అదే క్యాష్ బుక్ ఏమైపోతుంది, ఇలా మనకు క్యాష్ బుక్ ఉన్న వల్ల మనకి క్యాష్ అకౌంట్ అవసరం లేదు, బ్యాంక్ అకౌంట్ అవసరం లేదు. ఎందుకంటే క్యాష్ బుక్ ఈ రెండు పనులు చేస్తుంది. క్యాష్ అకౌంట్ కూడా అందులోనే, బ్యాంక్ అకౌంట్ కూడా అందులోనే. Okay, then it helps a businessman know the balance of cash in hand at any time without waiting for posting from the journal. That is, businessman, as I already said, businessman ki eppudanna any time he wants to know, ayana telavalఅనుకుంటే నాకు బ్యాంక్ లో ఎంత ఉన్నదో, క్యాష్ లో ఎంత ఉందో, చేతిలో పైసలు ఎంత ఉన్నదో క్యాష్ బుక్ ఓపెన్ చేస్తే ఆయనకి తెలిసిపోతుంది. And it also gives daily information. మనకి ఎంత పైసలు వచ్చినాయి, ఎంత పోయినది. ఇంకా క్యాష్ అండ్ బ్యాంక్ డే ఎండింగ్ లా మనం బుక్ క్లోజ్ చేస్తే ఇవాళ రోజుకి ఎండింగ్ లా సాయంత్రం పూట మన దగ్గర పైసలు ఎంత ఉన్నాయి, कैश इन हैंड ఎంత ఉందో, कैश एट बैंक ఎంత ఉందో. ओके, तो अपने क्या होता है, कैश बुक की वजह से ये दो काम करते, कौन सा, एक जर्नल का काम करता, लेजर का काम करता. कैश बुक रहने से अपने को कैश अकाउंट भी उसमें हो जाता, बैंक अकाउंट भी उसमें हो जाता. तो सेपरेटली कैश अकाउंट ओपन करने की जरूरत नहीं है, सेपरेटली बैंक अकाउंट ओपन करने की जरूरत नहीं है. तो इसके साथ अपने को दो इंपॉर्टेंट ट्रांजैक्शन, जो मोस्ट ट्रांजैक्शन इसके थ्रू द्वारा होता, तो वो दोनों इनका काम हो जाते हैं इसमें. और एट एनी पॉइंट कभी भी चाहे अपने को कैश पैसे अपने को हाथ में कितने हैं या अपने बैंक में कितना बैलेंस है पता चल जाता. तो जर्नल से पोस्ट करना वो सब, और कितना पैसे आज के दिन खर्च करे और कितने पैसे आए, और आज के दिन में दिन के आखिरी में शाम में अपने पास कितने पैसे है कैश इन हैंड और कैश एट बैंक. Okay, another important thing that it does is, now suppose for example the cash, okay, the cash book shows and tells me in my cash in hand I should have, let us say, 12,000 rupees at the end of the day. ఇవాళ ఈవినింగ్ నేను నా క్యాష్ బుక్ చూసినప్పుడు నా దగ్గర చేతిలో బుక్ చెప్తుంది, నా చేతిలో బుక్ ఏమంటుంది, 12,000 रुपीज ఉండాలి, 12,000 ఉండాలి. कैश बुक क्या बोल रहा, मैं जब चेक कर रहा हूं, आज के दिन का शाम चेक कर रहा हूं, तो कैश बुक बता रहा कि आपके पास 12,000 रहना चाहिए. ठीक है, अब मैं अपना जो है माइट बॉक्स या बोलो या ड्रॉ कैश ड्रॉ बोलो या कैश चेस्ट बोलो या कैश बॉक्स మనం క్యాష్ బాక్స్ या క్యాష్ చెస్ట్ ఏదైనా ఓపెన్ చేసి మనం పైసలు ఎక్కడ పెట్టామో అది కౌంట్ చేసినాం అనుకో ఎంత ఉండాలన్న పైసలు మన बुक 12,000 చూపిస్తుంటే जब अपना बुक 12,000 बता रहा तो कैश इन हैंड में कितना रहना एक्चुअली फिजिकली अगर मैं गिने तो फिजिकली जब मैं गिनता तो कितने पैसे रहना 12,000 रहना ఎంత ఉండాలి 12,000 ఉండాలి बिकॉज बुक अंటుంది 12,000 कैश ఉండాలి మన ఫిజికల్ कैश काउंट చేసినప్పుడు కూడా 12,000 हां कि नहीं तो बुक में बता रहा 12,000 तो अभी सपोज फॉर सम रीजन it is not the same in place of let us say 12,000 there is only 10,000 12,000 and here there is only 10,000 that means what has happened some kind of misappropriation has happened. That means somewhere something either two things, one is misappropriation, second maybe we have forgotten an entry. Okay, so it also if I have forgotten an entry we can rectify. Okay, so it also helps us in rectify. Maybe we forgotten an entry. Are 12,000 ఉండాలి మనం క్యాష్ కౌంట్ చేస్తే 10,000 ఉంది అంటే దాని మీనింగ్ ఏంది రెండు ఉంటది ఒకటి మనకి ఒకటి సో ఒక 12,000 ఉంటది క్యాష్ ఉన్నది మన 10,000 అని చూపిస్తుంది ఓకే అంటే 2,000 ఎటు పోయింది అంటే మనం ఎవరైనా మిస్టేక్ చేసిన ఉండో మనం ఒక ఎంట్రీ చేయలేదేమో ఆర్ వి హ్యావ్ నాట్ మనము ఏదైనా ఎవరైనా ఫ్రాడ్ చేసిండేమో मिसअप्रोप्रिएशन ठीक है अगर 12,000 रहना क्या बुक बता रहा अपने हाथ में 10,000 है तो उसका मतलब क्या होता इसके दो मतलब हो सकते एक अपने से गलती हो गई जब बुक्स बना रहे थे जब आज का दिन का मैं अकाउंट लिख रहा था कहीं तो भी गलती हो गई कौन सा गलती कि मैं एक एंट्री अमाउंट एंटर नहीं कराऊंगा एक जो है पेमेंट एंटर नहीं कराऊंगा 2,000 का तो उसके 2,000 का ज्यादा बुक में है और 2,000 कम है वो हो सकता वो गलती तो कैश बुक क्या करता गलती हुए तो भी मालूम हो जाता अपने को अरे ठीक है कुछ एंट्री चेक कर लिया तो मालूम हो जाता या ये भी हो सकता कि गलती नहीं हुआ पूरे एंट्रीज करेक्ट है इसका मतलब क्या है कैशियर जो भी है कुछ मिसअप्रोप्रिएट है कुछ फ्रॉड कर लिए तो कैश बुक का एडवांटेज क्या हो जाता है इसमें अपने को अपना एरर्स भी पकड़ने आता जो मिस्टेक्स करते वो भी पकड़ना होता और अगर कोई फ्रॉड हुआ या कोई मिसअप्रोप्रिएशन हुआ उसे भी अपन पकड़ सकते ठीक है सो दिस इज वन ऑफ दीज आर द एडवांटेजेस ऑफ मेंटेनिंग अ कैश बुक एनी क्वेश्चंस फ्रेंड्स Okay, any questions friends? So once again just before we go to the types of cash book, what are we doing today is about cash book. What is a cash book? In the cash book, what is the basic? First basic is only cash transactions will be recorded. In the cash book, only cash transactions will be recorded. Cash book में सिर्फ cash transactions record होते कोई भी किस्म के क्रेडिट ट्रांजैक्शन रिकॉर्ड नहीं होते चाहे कुछ भी होंगे अमाउंट क्रेडिट है तो उसको अलग बुक से जो अपन ऑलरेडी देख चुके हैं उसमें चले जाते हैं कैश बुक में क्या है खाली कैश जब आता या जाता कैश का माने फिर से रिपीट कर रहा हूं मैं कैश माने कैश हो सकता चेक भी हो सकता जब कैश या चेक आता या कैश या चेक जाता अपन चेक इश्यू करते या कैश दिए किसी को यही ट्रांजैक्शन जो है कैश बुक में आता that is the first and important thing is there is to be recorded only these things of cash transactions. Is that clear friends? Yes, no, okay, then okay, so anything it doesn't matter it has to be recorded. Second thing is it has to be recorded chronologically. It has to be recorded chronologically means as it happens as soon as cash goes out. Okay, chronologically का मतलब क्या है जैसा होता ट्रांजैक्शन इमीडिएटली उसे हम रिकॉर्ड करना कैश बुक में क्या मतलब उसका जब अगर बाई चांस मैं पैसे दिया मैं कैशियर हूं मैं पैसे दिया इमीडिएटली कैश बुक में एंट्री कर देना क्रेडिट साइड में कि मैं पैसे सो एंड सो किसको दिया वो लिख देना चाहिए या पैसे आए या चेक आया इमीडिएटली ऐसा नहीं कि शाम में बैठ के पूरा खांकी लगा लेके शाम में बैठ के एकदम लिख तो नहीं एक ही साथ लिख तो नहीं जैसा होता वही ऑर्डर में कैश ट्रांजैक्शन लिखना चाहिए, चाहे वो डेबिट साइड हो चाहे या क्रेडिट साइड हो। ऐसा नहीं कि आज के टाइम पास टाइम नहीं है तो मैं फटाफट कुछ की कर लिया, नहीं, it doesn't work that way. So it has to be recorded chronologically. That's another important. So if you remember just this much, in the cash book that credit transactions will not appear and only cash transactions will not appear. So it is easy to do. Is that clear? Right. Another important thing is sometimes, okay, sometimes if they give you a problem, I'm not really sure, but there will be sometimes they say sales is so much and trade discount, there's a difference between trade discount and cash discounts. Okay, trade discount will never appear in books. For us in the cash book, only cash discount will appear. So don't get confused between all discounts and all. Trade discounts will never appear in books. Now come on, let us see. Types of cash book. It is there on your screen. You can see it. We will be looking at only 3 types. We don't have so much of petty cash. Maybe I'll just tell you a sentence as a short. Okay. Somebody's mic is on here. Somebody's mic is on. There's a lot of background sound. It will be disturbing not just me. It will be disturbing other participants. So it would be nice if you can put off your mic. Somebody's mic. I don't know whose mic. Okay, let's move. The first type of cash book is simple cash book. The first type of cash book is simple cash book. You can hear me? Benny, किसी का mic on है? I don't know. Okay. Fine. The first type of cash book is simple cash book. This is more, not so much in use, but used by small concerns. They don't have lots of transactions. This takes care of it. Okay. The pro forma also is given to you on the screen. You can say so. Simple cash book records of all receipts and payments of cash. All cash received, whether in the form of coins, notes, checks, postal orders, bank drafts, treasury notes, will be recorded on the debit side, and the payments in whatever form the payments may be, it will be recorded on the credit side. It will be recorded on the credit side. Okay? Is that clear? Okay, this is a simple cash book. It has 2 sides, as you can see. Okay, as you can see, it has 2 sides. Okay. The first part is your debit side, right up to the first where the amount comes. I don't know if you can see the cursor, but I'm showing you. Okay, so date, particulars. Generally, receipt number is also added. You don't find them in the normal textbooks, but there is also a receipt number. That is for the you issue a receipt for the amount received. Then a ledger folio is this person's account, which is there maybe, or somewhere that is there, an amount column. So from the date till the amount column. Okay, maybe in the exam you don't need the receipt number. So date, we'll take it as date. Can you see? Date, particulars, ledger folio, and amount column. This is the first half of the cash book, the debit side. And on the credit side, it is just the same mirror image. Date, particulars. In place of receipt number, there is a voucher number which we will not use. There is no need of using this. Ledger folio and amount you can see there. Okay. So these are the columns. So there's a debit side and a credit side. And as we already said, okay, on the debit side, we are taking what? We are taking only the money coming in. Debit side is called the receipt side. The debit side is called the receipt side. So the money coming in, जो पैसे आते हैं, debit side of the cash book. Okay, I'll just get back to that. तो कैश बुक के जो है आपको दिखाई दे रहा है इधर सिंपल कैश बुक में 2 अकाउंट है वो, तो क्या होता है एक डेबिट साइड है और आपको इधर क्रेडिट साइड है. डेबिट साइड में जो है रिसीट्स है और क्रेडिट साइड में आपको दिख रहा है यहाँ पेमेंट्स है. यहां तक सोचिए फर्स्ट कॉलम जो है अप टू अमाउंट 1 पार्ट है सोचिए. Okay, it is 1 account only. I'm not trying. I'm just to explain and make it a little simpler. That's all. Okay, you can call it the first part from here to here, the debit part. Okay, that is date particulars. Receipt number, here receipt number अपन use नहीं करते, ledger folio amount. Same IC credit side पे भी date particulars virtual number छोड़ देके ledger folio amount. So debit side and credit side. Okay, debit side and credit side. So debit side पे क्या post करते हैं? Debit side पे जैसे पैसे business के अंदर आता, जैसे पैसे cashier के पास आता, वो पैसे जो है immediately डेबिट साइड पे पोस्ट करना. ठीक है, जो पैसे जब आते बिजनेस में उसे डेबिट साइड, बिकॉज द डेबिट साइड इज द रिसीट साइड. व्हाई? सिंपल, इफ यू रिमेंबर, you would have heard the types of accounts. The cash book is like a cash account. So cash book is what? A cash account is. Cash is what type of an account? It's a real account, isn't it? Cash is what type of an account? It is a real account. What is the rule of journalizing for real account? The real account rule is what? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Remember, this book is nothing but a real account. So what we should debit? Whatever comes in. What is coming in? We said in a cash book, not anything that comes in. Only when cash comes in. So whenever cash comes in, being a real account, and the rule of the real account saying debit what comes in, we will debit the cash account. Whether it be simple cash book, let it be 2 column or 3 column, which we'll see later, the rule remains the same. The books change, the columns change, that's all. So we don't have to get unduly worried about that part. Is that going to get more? Nothing. The rule remains the same. क्या होता? कैश बुक जो है रियल अकाउंट है, कैश बुक ఏంది? ఒక రియల్ అకౌంట్. ओके, तो नन्ना ఏమైతది? రియల్ అకౌంట్ जर्नलाइजिंग का रूल क्या है? डेबिट व्हाट कम्स इन, जो अंदर आता बिजनेस में उसे डेबिट करो, जो बिजनेस से बाहर जाता उसे क्रेडिट करो. तो कैश बुक जब एक रियल अकाउंट माना जाता, तो जब कैश आता उसे अपन डेबिट करना चाहिए, और जब कैश जाता उसे अपन क्रेडिट करना चाहिए. ओके, सिमिलरली, ओके, तो कैश बुक ఒక రియల్ అకౌంట్ రూల్ అదే కదా, డెబిట్ వాట్ కమ్స్ ఇన్. అందుకే మనము క్యాష్ వచ్చినప్పుడు డెబిట్ చేయాలి, పోతే క్రెడిట్ చేయాలి. ఇస్ దట్ క్లియర్? సో ఓపెనింగ్ బ్యాలెన్స్. So whenever you have a problem, the first thing you will have is, we will see one problem after this, you will find that they will give you cash on hand at the beginning of the month. Where will that come? Cash on hand will come on the debit side. Cash on hand will come on the debit side. So opening balance on the debit side of cash book, okay, is kept there, okay, which is taken from the journal proper. Then all other transactions, when they come in, money comes in on the debit side. Similarly, on the credit side, what we are going to do? Credit side पे कौन सा एंट्रीज आते हैं? जब कैश बाहर जाता, वो आसानी से अपने समझ में हो जाता है. पैसे जब एक ट्रांजैक्शन देखते उसमें समझ जाते हैं अपन, कैश अंदर आ रहा या बाहर जा रहा. इफ आई से सेल्स बोले, समझो कैश सेल्स, हम अपन बिजनेस के मान्य में सोचते, तो कैश सेल्स मतलब क्या? कैश अंदर आ रहा, कुछ खरीदे, कैश बाहर जा रहा. सिंपल है, उतना ही सोचने का अपने को. अंदर आ रहे तो डेबिट करो, बाहर जा रहे तो क्रेडिट करो, बस. तो यही सोचना है अपने को एक ट्रांजैक्शन के ऊपर. कौन सा भी ट्रांजैक्शन रहने दो, जब अपन कैश बुक कर रहे हैं, इतना ही सोचने का है कि अपने को ये ट्रांजैक्शन में पहली चीज कैश इन्वॉल्वमेंट है क्या? हाँ. सेकेंड चीज जो है, पैसे अंदर आ रहे या बाहर जा रहे. क्रेडिट है तो नहीं आता, इसलिए बोला मैं, सोचना कि ये कैश इन्वॉल्वमेंट है क्या. हाँ. दूसरी चीज जो सोचना है अपने को, कैश अंदर आ रहा या कैश बाहर जा रहा है. Okay, so cash book, whenever we are doing, whether all types of cash book, this is what we will do. So when we are making payments, it may be for salaries, it may be for some rent, it may be for purchase of stationery, or payment of taxes, it may be also on account of purchase of goods, on purchase of assets, where all these transactions are going, money is going out, all these entries will appear on the credit side, because the credit side of the cash book, the credit side of the cash book is the payment side. Is that clear, friends? Is that clear, friends? Okay. That is what it is. The credit side of the cash book is the payment side. So once again, whether whatever it may be, the debit side of the cash book is the receipt side, and the credit side of the cash book is the payment side. Okay. And at the end of the period, it could be for 1 month or whatever we're doing, generally we take it as a month. So at the end of the period, what will we do? Just like how we balance any other ledger accounts, just like how we balance any other ledger accounts, the balance shown in the cash book also should be closed. Okay, should be balanced. Okay, so always remember that this is like an account. So whatever we have put, fine. Whatever we have put, we will take it there. Fine. On the debit side, then the credit side, and you know how to post the how to balance ledger balancing. You know. Okay, check which side is more. Okay, write that total and the balance. Okay, generally the cash book should always show, not generally, sorry, cash book should always show a debit balance. The cash column should always show a debit balance. Why? Do you understand why? Because we cannot spend more than what we have. Cash book में जो है, especially cash column जो है, debit side ज़्यादा रहना चाहिए. Cash book लो, debit side एक cash column लो, debit side एक कुंडा ले, debit side ज़्यादा रहना चाहिए. क्यों बोलो? क्योंकि डेबिट साइड में पैसे आ रहे हैं, क्रेडिट साइड में पैसे खर्च कर रहे हैं. अगर पैसा नहीं है तो अपने पास, if you don't have money, मतलब पैसा लेवा नहीं, how will we कैसा खर्च कर सकते हैं? Is that clear? We will not be able to. Just excuse me 1 minute. Okay, so that is why in the cash book, cash columns, always the debit side will have to be more. Only if I have 100 rupees in my pocket, I can spend up to 100 rupees. Okay, now we're not talking in terms of cards and all that. Okay, we're just talking of simple hard cash. So when I have 100 rupees in my pocket, I can spend only 100 rupees. I can spend only 100 rupees. Isn't it? If I have more, if I have to spend more, it will not be possible. So that means cash also same way, cash book, the debit balance is what we have. So the debit side will always be more than the credit side. So the difference between the debit side and the credit side, whatever comes, suppose let us say the total of the debit side is 20,000 and the total of the credit side is 16,000. Debit side का total जो है, debit side total in the 20,000, credit side का total जो है, credit side total in the 16,000. So the difference between both the sides is how much? 4,000. What does that mean? It means at the end of the month, when we are doing the closing, or on the date of closing, whether 1 month or 1 day or whatever it may be, okay, चाहे कभी भी जब अपन balance close कर रहे हैं, debit side total 20,000 है, debit side total 20,000, credit side 16,000. That means that 4,000 जो difference है, मतलब उतना cash अपने हाथ पे है, उतना cash अपने हाथ पे है. ठीक है? That is the meaning of the balancing of cash book. Now you can all see this problem there. Yes? Okay. You can all see the problem. Okay. Now let us see a problem with a single column or a simple cash book. Okay. Enter the following transactions in a single column cash book. Shall I give you all? I do not know if you all have the what should I say, or pen and paper with you all. But if you all have, can you all try to attempt it in a minute, very roughly writing? I will give you all 1 minute from whatever I have spoken so far. Okay. No, not this, another. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'll give you the other one. Yeah, this one, sorry. Yeah, that moved because I moved my cursor. Yeah. Can you do it in 1 minute? Just 1 minute roughly. Even if you don't do the balance. And then we see that I have the illustration for I have the slide for the answer also. You can see. Just roughly do it, friends. I'll give you just a minute. अब सब लोगों थोड़ा जस्ट अभी तो 1 मिनट क्या 30 सेकंड लेके जस्ट इधर उधर कर दो फिगर्स को. डेबिट में जो आता वो डाल दो, क्रेडिट में जो आता डाल दो. डेबिट साइड क्रेडिट साइड एमओ से एस कौन and then we will see whether you have done it correctly when we see the answer solution to this. Quickly, don't have to draw lines and all.
Xavier sir,
Yeah.
this July 28th paid to A on account of sales. I mean, like, I don't know if that line is right. Paid to A on account of sales.
Hmm.
I mean, like, we don't pay on sales, no? Like, we get money for sales.
Yeah,
Is it
yeah.
like pay?
Yeah, that must have been a yeah. I agree with you. Yeah, I put the solution now. You see, it is actually go the other side. Paid to A, it should have been paid to A on account of purchases.
Yeah, right. That's what I thought. So, thank you, sir.
Yeah. Come, see what I want you all to do is do it roughly. Okay, don't get into writing everything. I mean, it's a good question what you asked me. I'm not saying it's exactly. I didn't realize it till you told me.
Okay. Yes, yes, yes.
That's wonderful of you. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's nice. So it means you're really listening. So that's great. Feel great. Yeah. Come, shall we go to the solution now? Just for you all to know it. That's all. I can do it also, isn't it? The solution I put up, friends. I'll give you another 15 seconds. Look at it and look at your own solution. And give yourselves a pat on the back that you have done well. Fine. I'm sure most of you all would have done well. So, आपको solution लगाया मैं उधर. आप check कर लीजिए कि आप लोगों सही करे या नहीं. आप सही करे होंगे बहुत सारे लोगों तो तकरीबन सब. अंदर check చేసుకోండి solution. Is that fine? Yeah, because the problem is I can't get back. No, so the response. So you can see it very clear there. On the debit side, okay, the balance brought down. Can you see that, please, all of you? The opening balance, okay, the balance of cash in hand, which is here, I'm just flipping between both, okay, comes here on the debit side as balance brought down. This I'm not telling you because you already know about ledger. So the previous day's balance has to be brought down. And then transactions, whatever are there. The next transaction was purchase goods for cash from X. So purchase goods from cash from X, buy purchases. Now, did you notice we didn't write the name of the person? We've said purchase goods. If you see the problem, purchase goods for cash from X. But in the here we didn't write because it doesn't really matter. Always remember when we do cash purchases, we don't really matter anywhere in accounts. You have to remember once cash is given or taken. If it's given and taken, we don't have to remember that person. So we purchased it. Do I need to remember him? No. So purchases 4,200. Fine. Then sold goods to cash 5, you can find that again 5,800 on the debit side. Purchases means cash going out, sales means cash coming in. Then you can find received commission 1,650 and paid commission 1,550. So when you receive commission coming in 1,650 on the debit side. When you paid commission, it's going out, okay, 1,550. And then that is paid to A on account of purchases 8,150. That should have been purchases, which was corrected well. 8,150. Then we paid salaries, it is there. We paid office rent. Then the total of the debit side, including the opening balance, you can see is 23,450. Okay, that means the credit side was less. So we totaled it up. And the balancing figure you can see by balance carried down. All of you all can see that. So that figure is the closing balance, which means for the month of July of 2012, this particular organization or whatever it is, had on 31st July cash in hand of 5,950. And remember, friends, whenever you do any account, after when you write the balance here, can you see my cursor? Can someone tell me if you can know what my cursor can be seen? I don't know. But anyway, whenever it is there, you can see it.
Moving.
Yeah. So whenever the balance you carry down, you should show the next day, like how this is shown, August 1st to balance brought down. Any account, not just in cash book, in any account. Is that fine, friends? So this is a simple cash book. Now, following the same principle, as I already told you, in the cash book, we don't change our principle. Our principle remains the same. Our base principle is the same. Whichever type of cash book. Cash book mein kya hai? Principle ek hi apne ko. Debit what comes in. That means debit receipts. Credit what goes out. They credit all the amounts we are paying. Okay. So based on that principle, let us move to the next book, which is called the double column cash book, or also known as 2-column cash book. 2-column cash book. Is that fine? Okay. Now I don't have to explain anything great in this. It is the same thing, except an additional column given both on the debit side, as you can see the cursor, on the debit side and on the credit side for discount. Okay, for the cash discount that we may receive or cash discount that we may give. Okay, this is when we receive it, will come on the credit side, and when we give it, will come on the debit side So for the discount, you can see one additional column added. So what is happening in a double column? First we had only one cash column. Now we are making it two. That's why it's called two column. That is a single column cash book, a simple cash book, one cash column. Other things remaining is the same. The date, particulars, ledger folio remaining the same. The columns of the amounts only are increasing from 1 to 2 to 3. Isn't it? So that's what we will be seeing. So now in the two column, what is happening, or a double column? We are having the discount column. Everything else remains the same. Okay. So when somebody pays us money to kind of, what to say, encourage him to clear our payments fast, we may say, if you clear it quickly by so and so date within 1 month, okay, I'll allow you a discount of 2% or 3%. So we are allowing discount. Discount allowed, remember, is a loss for us. So it is a debit item. That's why it comes on the debit side of cash book. Similarly, somebody else may be encouraging us to make this payment early. So he will be giving us a discount. So we receive discount. Discount received, remember, is an income for us. Okay, it's a gain for us. So that's why it comes on the credit side. Okay, discount allowed. These are nominal accounts. You know that. So debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. Okay, is that clear? Yeah. Same way, balancing. But one difference here is the cash column. The cash column we will balance. The cash column we will balance. But we will not balance the discount columns. Whether on the debit side and the credit side, discount column totals should be put as this. Okay? Just go back. Fine. Here, just to explain in Hindi. ये जो है 2 column cash book में क्या है, कुछ भी एक 1 column से 2 column क्या है, columns बढ़ रहे, कौन सा columns, amount के columns, date particulars and ledger folio, date particulars ledger folio अभी same ఉంటాయి, date particulars ledger folio same ఉంటాయి, debit side credit side, whether 1 column ఉండని 2 column ఉండని 3 column, whether 1 column 2 column या हो या 3 column same रहता है. क्या बढ़ता, cash column, अभी एक discount column ऐड करें तो आपको दिख रहा है discount, इधर भी discount. ओके, सब सेम रहता, पैसे जब आते डेबिट, पैसे जब निकाल देते क्रेडिट. सो दैट इज द सेम थिंग. ओनली डिफरेंस, जो डिफरेंस है जब बैलेंसिंग करते हैं, जब अकाउंट क्लोज करते हैं, कैश कॉलम को ऐसी सेम अपन जो इससे पहले प्रॉब्लम में करे वही करना. इससे पहले प्रॉब्लम में जो कैसा बैलेंसिंग करे, डेबिट टोटल करो पहले, वो ज्यादा रहता तो क्रेडिट टोटल करके बैलेंसिंग फिगर डाले. डिस्काउंट कॉलम को बैलेंसिंग नहीं करते. वी विल नॉट बैलेंस डिस्काउंट कॉलम. Discount column will only be totaled. Suppose debit side discount column is 300 rupees, you write 300. Credit side discount column is 200, you only write 200. No balancing of discount column, as we will see in the illustration. Is that clear, friend? Discount column को balancing नहीं करते. जितना debit side का balance का discount column रहता है, जितना debit side discount column होगा, that will be balanced with that amount. Credit side will be balanced with not balance side, that will be total with that amount. क्रेडिट साइड होना टोटल इश्यू था. अगर 200 300 क्रेडिट डेबिट साइड में है तो 300 टोटल लिख देते, 200 क्रेडिट में तो उधर लिख देते. ओके, लेट अस सी वन इलस्ट्रेशन फॉर दिस. ओके, लेट अस सी वन इलस्ट्रेशन फॉर दिस. Can you see the illustration, friends? Quickly again, I'll give you just this time less than 1 minute, I think. Do not write, only write the amounts on debit credit side, so you know what it is. Just quickly, friends. It's just that you also feel, you're part of it rather than simply listening to me. Just scribble the figures off. That's been enough. Then we can see the totals. Even if you don't worry about the totals, it's not all that is. Okay, come. Just have a look at the illustration. I hope it's the same one. Yeah. You can just cross-check your, just roughly fast cross-check with the figures, just the figures, whether you put the correct figures on the debit side, credit side, put it in the discount column and cash column. Fine? Right, come on now. So you understood this, friends? It is the same thing. It's the same problem that we had done previously, only for the additions of the discount column here. On the debit side, the discount allowed, and on the credit side, the discount received column. Otherwise, remaining the same. I hope you all are all done the same way. It is all the money coming in is put on the debit side, sorry, and all the money going out is put. And then you can notice one thing, we have balanced it. In this problem, what happened? We had a cash balance beginning at the month of 7,000, and by the end of the month, he has a cash balance of 5,040 rupees. Fine? He has a cash balance of 5,040. But what did I tell you the difference is here? This particular column, this discount column here, and this discount column there, both of them are also, see, that's why rupees is written. They are money involvement column, but we are not balancing that. You can see the discount column total is 1040 on the debit side, and the discount column total on the credit side is 1080. We just put the totals. There is no balancing figure. Please watch my cursor. Okay, you can see the cursor. Okay, fine. There is 1080 here and 1080. And here 1040, we are not saying, oh, 1080 is more than 1040, so we put one balancing figure. No balancing figure. We simply leave the discount column as it is. Is that great, friends? Fine. Let's move to the next one, which is the most important of all the cash books. They say the 3-column cash book or triple-column cash book. Fine. 3-column cash book or triple-column cash book. Now, most companies, large in size, follow this book. Why? What is the difference between that and this? What is the difference between all the three? I said, now if you see again towards the end of the debit side, you will find there's one more column added called bank. So we had first only cash, then we added one column called discount. Now we are adding another column called bank on both the debit side as well as at the end of the credit side. You can see there is a bank. You see? So what we have done, the column, the amount column only keep increasing from 1. Then it became 2, then it became 3. It was 1, then it became 2 here, and now it's become 3. That's all. What happens is, the advantage of the 3-column cash book is, you also are able to convert this is also your bank account. You don't have to open separate your bank account. It takes care in this book only. Because in business today, you know, most transactions take place through bank, through checks, or maybe through Paytm, maybe through Google Pay. All that is allowed now. Okay, all those are, the UPI is allowed now. Okay, so everything, payments can be done, amounts can be received. So all that is taken care of. Any payments so you might get sometimes paid by Paytm, paid through this means it is a bank operated, not cash. Okay, so what is the difference now? Nothing. We have added one additional column to the amount. So we have 3 amount columns on either side, on the debit side and credit side. Okay, cash book में 3-column cash book या triple-column cash book, दूसरे cash book से ज़्यादा फर्क नहीं है कुछ भी. खाली क्या करें अपन? एक bank column ऐड कर लीजिए. एक bank column ऐड कर लिए अपन. इससे पहले क्या cash था first one में, second में cash और discount था. अभी 3 column बनाए, bank भी ऐड करके. तो क्या discount, cash, bank. Same way, credit side में भी discount, cash, bank. बाकी के rules सब same रहता. बाकी के rules सब same रहता. Is that clear? But there are certain things which are little different here, or added, I wouldn't say different, but added when it comes, which you already know. Okay, fine. So all contents of the triple-column cash book are same as a double except the discount column. Discount columns are memorandum columns and are not based on double entry. Cash column represents cash account and must have a debit balance. Whereas this one now, bank columns may have debit or credit balance. Is it possible? Because sometimes you can withdraw for business. This is not, it will not happen for your account or my account. Business people are allowed to overdraw or draw more than what is there in the balance, which we call as overdraft. Okay, so there can be that where the bank column may be credit side is more than the debit side. It is possible. It is possible. It is allowed. Whereas the cash column can never be. The debit has to be more than credit. Remember this, friends. Cash column in any form can never be in the cash book. Cash column, the debit side only should be more. Credit column can never be more. But whereas for bank, it is possible. Is that clear, friends? Right. Now, this is the difference. A little addition to the 3-column cash book, which we know as Contra Entry. We've known the Contra Entry, right? Or you heard this word? Okay. What is a Contra Entry? Contra meaning both. Contra entry is one entry appearing on both the sides. on the debit side and credit side. Contra entry मतलब क्या है? वो entry एक entry है, एक transaction है, लेकिन उसको debit side भी आता, credit side भी आता. Okay, it comes on the debit side as well as on the credit side. Contra entry అంటే ఏంది? ఒక్క transaction है. इప్పటిదాకా what we अब तक क्या देखे अपन? एक transaction either debit side आ रहा cash book का या credit side आ रहा. पैसे आए तो debit side, पैसे गए तो credit side. So far what we have seen, entry, any entry there, transactions there, only one side, either it will affect the debit side or it comes on the credit side. అంతే కదా? But now contra entry అంటే ఏంది? ఒకటే transaction, but entry debit side లో కూడా ఉంటుంది, credit side. Contra entry means when the transaction has two sides entry. What are those first? First, let us take the case of paid into bank. You can see that paid into bank. Fine. Now, paid into bank, what is the journal entry? Bank account debtor to cash. Bank account debtor to cash. So, what happens when bank account debtor to cash? That means cash from my cash in hand, I have 10,000 now, and in my bank there is, let us say, 10,000 only. Now, what is doing? I have 10,000 in my hand. I am depositing that money, paid into bank meaning I am depositing the money. So I have deposited this 10, let us say from this 10,000, about 3,000 I have taken and deposited there in my bank. So how much is there now? I had 10,000, 10,000. Now how much do I have in my hand? I have only 7,000. That is how much is there in my bank? 13,000. You see, the bank goes up, cash comes down. So for showing the effect on both, since the 3-column cash book also has a bank column for it, so we have to increase the bank and decrease the cash. So for increasing in a cash book, increasing with a bank column or cash column, increase means debit. There's money coming into the bank means it's our bank. It's our account. So increase means debit, decrease means credit. So that is why this is a contra entry, because in this transaction, your bank column should increase. So you debit bank column with 3,000, and on the credit side, the cash column also 3,000 has to be credited. Is understood the contra meaning? And to indicate that, you put one C, one letter C, like this capital C. You can see that where I'm circling. Yeah, you put a letter C. That is telling the examiner it's a contra entry. Similarly, the reverse happens when you withdraw money. Now in my bank just now there was 13 and 8. Let us say I've withdrawn 4,000. From the bank I've taken out 4,000 to my cash. So what happens? From 13,000, 4,000 is gone. Bank will come down, it become 9,000. Mine was 7,000, 4,000 will go up, it become 11,000. You see? So when we withdraw money from bank for our office use, okay, when we withdraw money from bank for office use, what will happen? Cash column has to be debited, back column has to be credited, and the letter C will be written in the LF folio column. You can write the letter C. Is that clear, friends? That's a contra entry. Understanding why, you should understand why we are doing it. Because when we withdraw money or deposit money, we are operating both accounts in one book. Because both will take for that. So that is also a contra entry. And the third type of contra entry, which is not here, but I will tell you about it. This is when you receive a check. When you receive a check, what we do? Suppose I have received check from A. I will write in the 3-column cash book by A. And since I have received a check, I'll put it in the bank column. Isn't it? When you receive check, we say we use the bank column. When you receive cash, the cash column. So if I receive a check from A on, let us say, the 10th of February, I'll write 10th February to A, and in the bank column, 5,000. But suppose the problem he says, we will see one. Okay, this check which is received from A has not deposited that day, but is deposited on another day. 10th February received check 5,000, but deposited on 13th February. Then for that particular day, 10th February, since the check is still with us, we will not send it to the bank because the check is still with us. We will treat it as if it is cash. We will treat it as if it is cash, and we'll write it in the cash column. And on the 13th of February, when we send it to bank, we will treat it as if we are depositing cash into bank. That second time it will be for contra. Is that clear, friends? I will show it to you with the help of a problem. Okay, here I just, sorry. Yeah. Can you see the example of contra entry? 10th July, deposited into bank 5,000. 10th July, deposited into bank 5,000. Can you see that? Now what is happening? When you deposit into bank, I said, bank will have to increase and cash will come down. So what we have to increase the bank, we have to debit it because money is going into the bank by receiving. Okay, so that's why you can see 5,000 in the bank column for the same transaction, 10th February, 10th July, you can see the same thing, and 5,000. Again on the 10th, you can see that we are increasing cash by 5,000. Can you see that, friends? You see that? So here, by putting 5,000 on the debit side, we are increasing this by putting 5,000 on the credit side.
Sir, please unmute everyone.
I'm sorry?
Please unmute everyone. Some disturbance.
Yeah, I'll ask them. I'm not here. I just tell them. Just give me a second. I'll do that. I'll tell you that. Okay? No, mute. Okay, right? So contra entry का मतलब मैं बताया कि एक ट्रांजैक्शन है. फॉर एग्जांपल 10th जुलाई का ट्रांजैक्शन इधर आपको दिख रहा स्क्रीन पे. 10 जुलाई डिपॉजिटेड इनटू बैंक 5,000. एक ही ट्रांजैक्शन है. एक ट्रांजैक्शन को एक ही एंट्री, लेकिन कॉन्ट्रा एंट्री है ये. क्यों? मैं एक्सप्लेन ऑलरेडी कर चुका हूं ये कि जब बैंक में डिपॉजिट करते हैं बैंक ज्यादा होता, कैश कम होता, तो इसको दो एंट्री होते हैं क्योंकि अपना कैश बुक दोनों मेंटेन करना, कैश और बैंक. तो आपको दिख रहा है यहाँ, अब जब ये आपको कैश बुक में दिख रहा है, देखो 5,000 डेबिटेड बैंक कॉलम. किधर? बैंक कॉलम. दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. और इधर देखो लिखने का क्या, बिकॉज द जर्नल एंट्री इज बैंक अकाउंट डेटा टू कैश. टू बैंक एंड पोस्ट इज द सेम. No. If you write to cash, it will go to bank. If you write to bank, it will go to cash. What you write it opposite it should be. So you should write correctly. So to cash, बैंक कॉलम को 5,000 रुपया बढ़ा दिए क्योंकि तो बैंक में बढ़ गया 5,000, लेकिन अपने हाथ में जो पैसे थे वो घट गया, 5,000 घटा, तो क्रेडिट देते क्या? पैसे जब घटता तो क्रेडिट. So when money comes down, we have to credit it. So we give it 5,000. So for the same one transaction of 10th July, we have the entry both on the debit side, friends, and on the credit side, and we indicate that by the C, which is shown here. Clear? Vice versa. Similarly, for the amount withdrawn, it is the same thing. Now on 15th July, we have withdrawn from bank for office use 10,000 rupees. That means bank has come down. We have taken out money from the bank. 10,000 has come down. And we have got it in our hand. 10,000 has gone up. So that is why you can see on the 15th, 10,000 increased in the cash column. And you write to bank here. Because the journal entry is cash account data to bank, and you write here 10,000 because we have increased the cash column, and then 10,000 on the credit side in the bank column because we have decreased the bank column because their money has come up, and we indicate that again with the contra here. You can see the contra here. That is all, and then you balance it around. That is okay. That will come. That's fair enough. Dear friends, this is the contra entry. These are contra entry, and remember, only when cash is withdrawn for office use, only when cash is withdrawn, you can see the cursor again, cash is withdrawn for office use only, it's a contra entry. Even if he says cash withdrawn, it's a contra entry. But if the problem states cash withdrawn for personal use, then it is not a contra entry. Am I clear, friends? When it is said cash withdrawn for personal use, what is personal use meaning? Drawings. When it is said cash withdrawn for personal use, then friends, it is not a contra. It's not a contra entry. It is a single entry which will appear on the credit side as by drawings in the bank column. Cash withdrawn from bank for personal use is not a contra entry. Okay, friends? कैश जब पर्सनल यूज बैंक ऑफिस यूज के वास्ते कॉन्ट्रा एंट्री होता, जब कैश पर्सनल यूज के वास्ते विड्रॉ करते वो कॉन्ट्रा एंट्री नहीं होता, वो सिंगल एंट्री है जिसमें बैंक अकाउंट से कम हो रहा, हाँ उसे ड्राइंग्स कहते हैं. जब अपन पर्सनल यूज को निकालते तो कैश बुक में क्रेडिट साइड में बाय ड्राइंग्स अमाउंट को जो है बैंक कॉलम में डालना. మనము బ్యాంకులకి పైసలు పర్సనల్ యూస్ కోసం తీస్తే అది కాంట్రా ఎంట్రీ కాదు, అది కాంట్రా ఎంట్రీ కాదు, అది సింగిల్ ఎంట్రీయే. దాని క్రెడిట్ సైడ్ లో బై డ్రాయింగ్స్ అని రాసి 5,000. ఇస్ దట్ క్లియర్? షల్ ఐ గివ్ యు వన్ స్మాల్ ప్రాబ్లం? Yeah. just fast, as you all did now, so that I can then leave some time for you all to ask me questions. And if you have a time, I'll try and do another. And you'll just fast. It is already 11, so maybe in about a minute or this may take a little more. Maybe by 11:02 on my watch. भाई सुरजन ने थोड़ा जस्ट क्विकली कर दीजिए. Shall I put up the solution? There is an error in this solution, okay? I'll tell you later if someone can tell me. I don't know if you can be unmuted now because again. Shall I put up the solution, friends? Please go through. Fine. Well, got it? See, cash in hand and cash at bank is shown here, see. You can see this? So the opening balance is taken, whichever is the cash is 6374 shown in the cash column and 16490 shown in the bank column. The rest of it is the same problem. Okay, cash sales, okay, is there 7400. Then we had the next entry, paid into bank 8000 or deposited into bank, whatever you may call it, paid into bank or deposit. Now, paid into bank, that's a contra entry. I also shown you in the previous example how you do it. It's the same. So what is happening when you pay into bank? Again, I'm explaining that the amount in the bank column increases. So to cash in the bank column 8000 with a contra indication here. Coming to the credit side by bank in the cash column 8000 with a contra indication here. See, is that clear, friends? Is that clear? Is that fine? Yes. Then received a check from X 1700. And now this is the one I was trying to tell you about. Now you just see this. Received a check from X. Can you see the illustration? Received a check from X 1700 on January 10th. And on January 12th, sorry, paid into bank X check for 1700. You can see that? Yeah. See, you are receiving a check on one day, paying it on another day. Okay, receiving a check on one day and paying it on another day. Now let's see what happens. Now what is happening? We are holding on to the check. We are not deposited in the bank at the same immediately. So that is why on January 10th, because the check is with us, it is like cash with us. Because the check is with us, it is like cash with us. And so On January 10th, though it is a check, we are showing it in the cash column. Did you notice that, friends? It is not a contra. We are just showing it as a cash column. Have you noticed that, all of y'all? Yes. Okay. So when we receive a check and don't immediately deposit, but we keep it, it is like as if we have kept it. So if the bank, if the cash is there, it's also cash. It's equivalent to cash, a check. And so that is why we're showing it in cash. Now what is happening? So अब ये January 10th का transaction देख रहे हैं? आप लोगों जो भी वहाँ पे January 10th check received from X 1700 और cash paid into bank 12 तारीख 10 तारीख को check मिला 12 तारीख को check को अपन बैंक में डाल रहे हैं। तो जब check अपने रिसीव करके immediately जब बैंक को नहीं भी जाते उसे हम cash मानते हैं। cash मान के क्या करते हैं? उसको cash column में डाल देते हैं। We show it in the as a cash. Now what is happening on 12? This check they are depositing. So that means it's like cash depositing. You get the difference? That's all it is. It's the same thing. It's like equivalent to say cash deposited. Though we are depositing check, it's like cash deposited. Okay. So that is why cash is deposited. So we 1700 bank balance will go up. 1700 here bank balance will come down. Sorry, cash balance will come down. The contra. Have you got that, friend? So there will be 3 cases for contra. Remember, 3 scenarios or 3 scenes where we have contra. One, when we deposit money into bank or we pay into bank, whatever the wordings may be, deposited money into bank is 1. Okay. 2, when we withdraw money from bank, that will be the second one. Third case is when we receive a check, and do not deposit it at the same time. When we receive the check and do not deposit at the same time, then also that next day when we deposit the check, that will be a contra entry. These are the only 3 situations where we get them as a contra entry. Is that fine, friends? Is that fine, friends? Got it? Clear? Right? So 3 बार जो है contra entry है सकता। क्या है वो? पहली बार जो है जब अपन कैश बैंक में डिपॉजिट करते हैं वो ट्रांजैक्शन contra entry, that means डेबिट और क्रेडिट साइड में आता है। जब कैश बैंक से निकलते ऑफिस यूज जब भी कॉन्ट्रा एंट्री। और तीसरी बार कब कॉन्ट्रा होता हो तो चेक जब एक दिन रिसीव करते हैं लेकिन उसे उस दिन डिपॉजिट के बदले किसी और दिन डिपॉजिट करते, जो और दिन डिपॉजिट करते, जैसा ये केस में था 10 तारीख को चेक मिला और 12 तारीख को डिपॉजिट करे तो 12 तारीख का जो ट्रांजैक्शन रहता है उसे कॉन्ट्रा माना जाता है। ओके फ्रेंड्स, कॉन्ट्रा एंट्री అంటే 3 ఉంటాయి ना। ఓకే, కాంట్రా ఎంట్రీలు 3 ఉంటాయి। అవేంటి? ఫస్ట్ బ్యాంక్ లో పైసలు వేసినప్పుడు బ్యాంకుకి పైసలు మన ఆఫీస్ యూస్ కి తీసినప్పుడు, మూడోసార్లు ఎప్పుడు అంటే చెక్ ఒక దినం రిసీవ్ చేసుకొని ఇంకొక దినం డిపాజిట్ చేస్తే ఆ ఇంకొక దినం డిపాజిట్ చేసే దినము అది మన దాన్ని కాంట్రా ఎంట్రీ అంటారు. ఇస్ దట్ క్లియర్? Have all of you all got understood this? The rest of the transactions are same. Cash sales you have taken on the debit side, then received a check from Y and allowed him a discount. Okay, so you can see there to Y. Okay, 1950. Yeah, this is the way. This one you see. Can you see this? This is where I said there was an error. Received a check from Y and allowed him a discount. This is an error in the problem. Don't follow the problem. Okay, don't follow the solution for this transaction. There is nowhere saying that this Y's check is deposited on another day. So actually, this amount, friends, are you listening to me careful? This amount should go here. I didn't have the time to do this. I couldn't do it actually because I took it from somewhere. I wouldn't say I didn't have time, but you're getting it right. Because when you receive a check and nothing is said, it means it's deposited on the same day. So this 1950 should go into the bank column. So there will be a difference in your totaling a little. Okay. The differences it will change. Is that clear, friends? When you receive a check, it will directly put it into the bank column only. Okay, then paid to Anu by check so much. Then you can see here also paid to Anu by Anu so much, discount so much. Anu 1980 discount. Here also 2Y, whatever, again coming back to that, 1950 should go into the bank column. जो है गलत है ये 1950 bank column को जाना और 1050 जो है discount. Again you can see here discount columns are total as it is, and the rest of it. Is that fine, friends? Should you have any questions? I do not know. Trying to see your chat now, but you can see it only. Okay. Yeah, I try to do as much justice I could in all the languages. I don't think I can do a, what should I say, a better job or anything. Yeah, any questions? Should I, someone tell me if you all have any questions? I don't know if can you all unmute or should I'll unmute you all now. for the last 15 minutes maybe. If you have any questions, you can if not write on the chat if someone wants. Thanks. Yeah, any questions you can ask me now. You're unmuted also. Or I'll check the chat also. Any questions, friends? Anything about cash book that you'd like to know? Like to ask? I know I have about 15 minutes more. If you'll have no questions, I will give you all another problem. I have another problem. I can give you another problem too. I'll give you more time for it. It's a little long. So no questions. Okay, fair enough. Then just see this problem. I'll give you all about 4 minutes. Please start doing the problem. Shall I put up the solution? Come on, I'm going to put up the solution, friends. Okay. So enter the following transaction and the 3-column cash book of Messrs. Barkat and Company for April. You can see that now the complete pro forma neatly given to you. See how the heading is. The debit and you can see the heading, the name of the organization, then calling it the cash book. Then it's divided. This is the center line. You can find it a little thicker. Okay, so dividing the whole book into 2 parts. One is the debit and the other your credit, and it's clearly mentioned on the top: DR debit, CR credit. In the columns, date, particulars, ledger folio, discount, cash, bank. Similarly, on the other side is the repetition: date, particulars, ledger folio, discount, cash, bank. Okay, you can see it neatly done here. Fine. Then let's see the problem now. Just you can also, review your own work there of how you have done. The first thing is the balance, as I said, is shown there. 1st April, cash in hand 2370 and cash at bank 65,940. Since it's a favorable balance of the bank, it's also on the debit side. Clear? The first transaction is received from K. Agarwala 5,900 and allowed him a discount of 100 rupees. So receiving money, I just explain the whole thing again now. Since we have another 10 minutes to do, I can do it slowly and you can understand. So here the transaction, I know you don't have that problem with you. So the transaction was received from K. Agarwala, okay, 5,900 and discount allowed. So since money is coming in, okay, it's on the debit side for the date written April 2012, April 1st, that is over 12, second date, 5,900, 100 rupees. And also allowed him discount 100 rupees this year. Fine. The next transaction for the dated 4th. Okay. समझ गए सब जने? First transaction जो है अगरवाला से पैसे आए तो डेबिट साइड में because money coming in पैसे 5,900 और कैश कॉलम में 100 रुपया जो है डिस्काउंट अलाउ करे तो डिस्काउंट. Next is cash sales 11,340. Okay. Cash sales 11,340. So 2 sales 11,340 because it is cash sales. 2 sales करे cash के 11,341 cash sales generally 11,340 and also in the same day paid salaries for March by cash 12,000. Now see here we are doing the books for when? April. We are doing the books for when? We are doing the cash book for when? It is for April, but the salary is for March. Should we take it? Yes. This is not final accounts where we only consider this particular year's account. Cash comes in, cash goes out. Cash comes in, cash goes out. Check comes in, check goes out. Irrespective of which year it belongs to. Not just the current financial year. It can belong to the previous financial year. It may belong to the next financial year. Does not matter. If it belongs to the previous month, next month, does not matter. If cash or check has come in, or if cash or check has gone out, it will appear in the cash book. It is not like a trading and profit and loss account. It is related to a particular period. No. It's not like that. Cash comes in, blindly take it. Cash goes out, blindly take it. Cash or check. ठीक है? ये देखो अभी ये जो ट्रांजैक्शन है, salary is paid for March 12,000. लेकिन हम अपन कर रहे कब ये बुक अप्रैल को, लेकिन इससे फर्क नहीं पड़ता कुछ भी. अपने को यहाँ कैश बुक जब करते यही मतलब रहता है. कैश बुक చేసేటప్పుడు మార్చ్ और अप्रैल అవన్నీ అనవసరం. यही रहता अपना दिमाग में, यही रहना चाहिए कि पैसे आए या चेक आए या पैसे गए या चेक गए, बस वो एक देख लिया तो वो इधर आता. कौन सा पीरियड का है उससे अपने को मतलब नहीं है. It does not matter to which period it belongs to. हाँ ए पीरियड కొందో అది అనవసరం. Okay, next. So that is why we said by salaries 12,000. The next transaction was paid BK Bose, a check of 3,000. Okay, you can see it paid, check money going out. It's given in the form of a check. That's why it's in the bank column. Is that clear? Right. Next, cash purchases 600. We purchased goods by purchases, cash going out 600 is here. Next, paid Ahmed by check 5840, discount received 260. Okay, so by Ahmed, QML 5840, and we received a discount of 260, which we are showing in the discount column. Next, cash sales of 1120. So come to the debit side, cash sales, money coming in, come to the debit side. So when the money comes in, to sales, 1120 on the debit side. And on the same day, it is saying also we paid cartage. Cartage meaning transportation charge. Okay, so cartage. Okay, since paid means money going out. Okay, cartage 60 rupees. Okay, this I don't have to explain in Hindi and say something in Telugu because very simple words I'm using. Just money coming in, money going out. Paisa ana jana. Okay, next, now this transaction 10. Withdrew from bank for office use rupees 2000. Withdrew from bank for office use rupees 2000. Now this is a contra entry. This is a contra entry. This is where we have to be a little careful. That's all. In the sense, you have to make 2 entries. When I say careful, it's not that it's very tough. No. Just okay. Received. We have to now say received. Deposited. That is equal. What was that? Yeah, withdrew. I'm sorry, withdrew from bank for office use. Okay. Now that means we are getting money from bank. Money is coming from the bank. Withdrew. So money is coming in. So cash account has to go up. Cash in hand has to go up. Cash in bank has to come down. That is why when we withdraw to bank, cash is going up 2000 and bank is coming down 2000 on the credit side, an indicator of C. Can you see this? C. Is that clear? Withdrew money, cash from the bank is coming in. So bank account will become less, cash account will become more. So that is why cash account we are increasing by debiting the cash column, bank account we are decreasing by crediting. This is a contra entry. And on the same day, paid rent in cash for March, as I told you now, March or April doesn't matter. Rent has been paid 500 by rent. Then on 14th, cash sales of 2,120. 2,120 cash sales has been done. So that is 2 sales. There it is there in the cash column. Next, on the same day, received from Dhar, GC Dhar, 1945 by check and discount allowed 60. See? Now here you see, he is not telling this check is deposited on another day. It has to go as bank because check has come. That means it's deposited on the same day. When nothing is said, it means so. To GC Dar because we received on the debit side. To GC Dar 1940 in the bank column because we received check in the bank column and discount column 60 rupees and discount column 60 rupees. Is that clear? Receiving check is not a contra entry unless the check is deposited on another day. We have received it, send it to the bank. That is why straight away in the bank column it goes, and here we are showing it. Discount. The next, deposited with bank 10,000. We are now depositing. That means from our office, from our cash in hand, 10,000 is going to the bank. That means bank will become more. Cash in office will come down. Cash in hand will come down. Bank will become more. Cash in hand will come down. So what happens there? That means we have to increase the bank column and decrease the cash column, which is a contra entry. So on the 16th, to cash bank column 10,000. And this side also on the 16th by bank cash column 10,000. So to cash bank column 10,000 debit. So increasing the balance in the bank, and on the credit side cash column, crediting cash column 10,000 and indicating both the sides with a C. Is that clear, friends? Right. Next, purchased a motorcycle for rupees 58,000 and drew a check for the amount. Purchased a motorcycle. A motorcycle carries 58,000. Or what? How did we pay this? By check. So what? It doesn't really matter. So it's a purchase, money going out, buy motorcycle. You can see here, buy motorcycle on the credit side, but the amount will be written in the cash column because we are paying by check. Is that clear? Next. Yeah, received a check from Robert and Company for rupees 2,940. Received a check from Robert and Company for rupees 2,910. I'm sorry, 2,910, and discount allowed 90. So we have received the check. We just look down. Nothing. Something else is spoken about Robert's check. So Robert to Robert and Company. Since we received the check on the debit side, 2,910 to Robert and Company. because there's nothing mentioned about when it was deposited. So 2,910, and we have received a discount from him of 90 rupees. We allowed him a discount of 90 rupees. So 2,910, he received 90 rupees discount in the same. Then cash sales of 2,980, cash sales of rupees 2,980, money coming in, cash column 2,980. Now on the 29th, the statement is like this. I don't know if I don't think you'll have a problem there. I'll just put the screen there for you. On the 29th, you can see here now. Bank notifies that Robert and Company's check has been dishonored. Bank notifies that Robert and Company's check has been dishonored. That is, bank is notifies me. Bank is informing us that Robert's check was dishonored. Dishonored means we put the check, and then what happened? He didn't have money in his account. We didn't get the money. So unnecessarily we boosted up our bank account. Now we have to cancel that. So come back to the credit side. When a check is dishonored, nothing. Come back to the credit side. Whatever we wrote on the debit side, we repeat the same thing only with the buy. Buy Robert and Company 2,910. Now we will, this discount also goes back 90. We'll snatch back his discount also. Okay. Okay. 2,910 there, and it's snatch back this discount also. Is that clear? So when we dishonor a check, what is that dishonor माने क्या? Check dishonor माने पैसे जिस मैं किसी से चेक लिया, मेरा बैंक में डाला, उसके पैसे नहीं आए, तो मैं जब चेक आया, मैं इमीडिएटली मेरा बैंक अकाउंट को ज्यादा कर दिया. अब वो चेक बैंक वाले बोले कि वो चेक में पैसे हैं, वो अकाउंट में पैसे नहीं थे, वो क्या चेक डिसऑनर हो गया, बाउंस हो गया. तो वो जो 2009-10 है बैंक में बढ़ गया पैसे, उसको कम करने का था, तो 2009-10 या उसको अपन डिस्काउंट अलाउ कर देते हैं, अब उसको डिस्काउंट भी वापस लेते हैं, तो डिस्काउंट भी आ गया. ठीक है. Next one, deposited with bank 3,000. This is deposit again, money going into the bank. Bank account up, cash account less. Bank account up, cash account less. It's a contra entry. It's a contra entry. Okay. So to cash 3,000, to cash 3,000, and this is defined by bank 3,000, and it's a contra entry. Okay. And finally, paid wages 720. So that is there. Paid wages 720 is there by wages. And then bank charges as shown in the passbook 50 rupees is also there. Bank charges as shown in the passbook 50 rupees. And then we balance it. Okay, we balance it and see this. Balance the column. You can see. Okay, the totalings are there. Then there's a balance of 950 and 11,990. Cash at bank, cash in hand is 950. Cash at bank is 11,990. Once again, reminding you friends, bank column will just be total. If you see the discount column will just be total. Reminding you once again, discount column will just be total. Discount, debit discount, 350 total, left alone. Credit discount total, 250 and 350, and left alone. That's it. We don't balance, once again I repeat, we don't balance this discount columns. Is that clear, friends? Any questions you can ask me? If not, I think we've come to the end. It's 11:30. I'm sure you also need a break. So if you have any doubts, any questions, you can ask me. Any questions, friends? So is that clear? So I'll close the class or the session as you call it. Okay. Thank you very much. And all the very best for your exam.
Thank you, sir.
All the very best for your exams, yes.
Participants, if you have any doubts, you can ask. Otherwise, we'll wind up the session. Any doubts, please? Okay, feedback is there. Please give your feedback also. Yeah, your PPT will be shared. Okay, on behalf of IRIFM, Secunderabad, I thank Mr. Xavier for taking up the session on cash book, and also clarifying many doubts. Thank you all. Thank you so much. We will have second session. The second session will start at 11:45. So please have a quick break of tea and then come back. 11:45, the second session resumes. Thank you all. Stay tuned.